happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got that corrupt New York Attorney General Letitia James getting wrapped up in even more legal trouble in this one, as she just got caught using millions of taxpayer dollars in order to fund her legal expenses, guys. And I'm excited to get into it. So now I'm straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Victor, thank you very much. And taxpayers may be footing the bill for Letitia James's legal fees related to that mortgage fraud, the series of allegations that we broke right here on The Angle. Governor Kathy Hochul's budget bill now has language that would actually put taxpayers on the hook for officials dealing with Trump administration-led investigations. So if the DOJ takes up Tisha's criminal referral and this bill passes, she could end up tapping into a $10 million fund to cover any reasonable attorney's fees and expenses incurred. Here to unpack that is New York State Senator Rob Ortt. Senator, thank you for joining us. How will this go over with the hardworking men and women of New York who've already seen enough of her games for a while?
Yeah, I mean, you're already in the highest tax state. There's any number, we're going to pass a budget, Laura, that's going to be about $255 billion here in New York in the next couple of days, passed, by Democrats in both the Senate Assembly by Governor Hochul. And this is maybe one of the more egregious. They're going to take $10 million of public money, tax dollars, for private legal defense. Don't forget, this is regardless of whether it's even related to your job. So even if somebody else had a DUI, they could tap into this fund under this law. But this was drawn up expressly for one official, Tish James, to defend, so she can use the tax dollars for her legal defense against the federal government.
Legal slush fund. Yeah, legal slush fund because allegedly she wanted certain benefits that she got by fraudulently stating things, allegedly, on these mortgage applications. Senator, thank you very much.
You guys, you seriously cannot make this stuff up at this point. This is unreal stuff we're seeing. Now we have the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, getting on board with the crimes, the fraudulent schemes of that corrupt New York Attorney General Letitia James, saying that she's going to allocate $10 million, a slush fund essentially, for her legal expenses. And this is all of the New York State taxpayer dollars. You really can't. I mean, come on. This thing keeps getting deeper and deeper. And then I found an article. This is going to give us a little bit more of a breakdown on what's going on, how Letitia James has been somehow granted this $10 million magically from Kathy Hochul. Guys, check this one out. It starts by saying language in this new budget bill up for a vote later on this Wednesday evening could put New Yorkers on the hook for State Attorney General Letitia James' legal expenses in a fraud case being brought against her by the Trump administration. She's been saying this whole thing is political. This is a revenge act, but we have to remember who's been the lead, the spearhead for this investigation. It's been independent forensic investigator Sam Antares. He's the one who headed this whole thing off, and he has no affiliation with the Trump administration or any vendetta against Miss Letitia James. So she has to throw that whole revenge act out the window. That's not the case. And then it goes on to say that Democratic New York Governor Kathy Hochul issued her proposal for a $254 billion budget last week, and the state legislature is set to begin voting on it as soon as Wednesday. Part of what state legislators will be voting on includes the state operations section of the budget. That section, according to a draft copy provided to Fox News Digital, includes the draft language which, if approved, would compel taxpayers to provide the money for a legal defense fund that, while Letitia James is not explicitly named in the bill, would theoretically cover the New York Attorney General's legal costs pertaining to fraud allegations brought against her by the Trump administration, Federal Housing Finance Agency. Oh my goodness, you can't be serious. I mean, she committed these crimes knowing and willingly on her own behalf. This was not on behalf of her office as Attorney General of the state of New York. This was all on behalf of Tish James as a private citizen. So how is she being able to use these funds for her legal expenses when this all happened in a personal manner, personal setting? You can't be serious with these folks. Letitia James is going to get away with this on the New Yorkers' tax dollars. Are you guys going to stand for this? I know there's some New Yorkers out there enraged, absolutely, but you can't be upset because this is what the folks of New York voted for. This is exactly why I keep saying you got to do a little bit more research, due diligence on who you're voting in there. I mean, voting blue no matter who. We're seeing what it's getting these folks. It's not good. It's not good at all. And then it continues to go on saying the draft language compiled by the Democratic controlled executive branch, Senate majority and Assembly majority would set aside $10 million for elected officials in the state to use for their legal defenses when the case is in direct response to the officials' exercise of their duties. So I'm not sure if that's where it kind of confuses me a bit with that language. So in direct response to the officials' exercise of their duties. So this doesn't sound like it's in direct response to Letitia James' exercise of her duties. This is in direct response to her getting allegations on a personal level. This is her all off duty. This doesn't have anything to do with exercising her duty. So I'm a little bit confused. I want that cleared up, whether or not she would actually be able to use these funds for the legal troubles that she's currently in as far as her mortgage fraud allegations. It says James attorney Abby Lowell, who obtained for her by the New York State Attorney General's office, characterized the Trump administration's mortgage fraud claims against James as a political retribution for her decision to go after Donald Trump over allegations he falsified business documents to obtain favorable business positions. And that political retribution point, I told you guys, I don't see that actually holding any merit, holding any weight, because again, the spearhead for this investigation was an independent investigator, Sam Antar. He's the one who's been digging up all this dirt on his own doings. He's got no political affiliation or ties with the Trump administration. So I feel like that right there, we can refer back to the words of Letitia James. This is a baseless claim. There is no political retribution in this case. The article then goes on to say, according to the draft language of the New York Operations Budget Bill, a state official will be permitted to use the money from their legal defense fund if the official has previously had interactions with the U.S. government or a U.S. government official in the course of their official duties. It says that there are additional criteria which would also apply to James, particularly when considering her former case brought against Donald Trump that led to the first ever felony conviction of a U.S. president, which was all bogus ham baloney. It's going to get tossed out in the appellate courts. And I'm surprised to see that that is still on the table, being as Miss Letitia James declared that Virginia property as her principal residence, which would in turn disqualify her from being in that seat or acting as a New York State Attorney General. You can't live in a different state and be the Attorney General in the state of New York. That's just in the rules. You cannot do that. So this should, in turn, at that same time, this was during the case when she was going after Donald Trump, she was stating that she was living at principal residence was in Virginia. I'm not sure how this isn't directly conflicting and doesn't throw out that case. Everything should be, as far as what happened with Donald Trump, I don't believe it's going to hold where they're saying that first criminal conviction brought against, or felony conviction, I should say, against the U.S. president. I don't see that holding much weight or merit for much longer. That whole thing could get tossed out. And then they concluded this one saying that the sources who provided the operations budget draft language said it should be made publicly available sometime Wednesday. I'm very excited to see how this one all plays out, yo. There we have it, guys. I'm not sure how no one is above the law still is trying to get away with being above the law, trying to get away with the mortgage fraud, the insurance fraud, lying on bank, federal records and documents. And now she's being able to use the New York State taxpayer dollars in order to pay for all of her legal expenses, her troubles that she's going through. And after seeing the facts of this newest update, I would love to hear the thoughts coming from especially the New Yorkers, folks that are residents underneath this Attorney General, Miss Letitia James. Your dollars, your tax dollars, this is where your money is being allocated, and it's not just Tish James that thinks this is okay. Your governor, Kathy Hochul, has put the green stamp and the check mark beside it saying that this is where we want your tax dollars to go. Oh my, this is, I mean, just the things that these folks think they could get away with. When she says no one is above the law, she has herself on a whole different island. She's exempt from those rules, the laws that are put in place, apparently, because just look at the way she's been acting. This is lawless behavior, yet she has continued to be, just getting away with it. People are giving her the green stamp. The governor is saying, hey, this is okay what you're doing, continue down this road. I don't know, you guys, maybe it's just me, but I feel like Kathy Hochul being in agreement or on board with Tish James' agenda and her mission is almost admission to guilt of other crimes, and meaning she probably participates in fraudulent crimes as well. They can't keep getting away with this. I hate to be the person to say, if they cannot, we have to hold them accountable, or else they're going to continue to do it. You guys would definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one, especially my New York State residents who are paying tax dollars to go to this. Letitia James's legal expenses. Oh my goodness. Let me know what y'all are thinking, guys. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.